something that someone didn't want me to post. So I had an emergency guest this morning, which is all edited now and ready to go with my husband Ian. I've been thinking about doing a podcast with him for ages. I'm not even sure if this is working because I'm doing it a different way um on the editing app that I use. So just gonna check. I don't even know where to check. Anyway, I don't know if I'll get any comments or anything either. Anyway, so yes, so I've got a good conversation between me and my husband coming later, which I really enjoyed as well. It was nice just to sit down and talk about a specific topic, because when you're like in the house and you've got life to do, stuff like that. So yeah, you've got stuff to do, and you don't always get to talk about important stuff or non-essential stuff. Like you might talk about, I don't know, the gas and electric account, or the dishes, or what's for tea and stuff like that. um and you might talk, well, we might talk about business and stuff as well, but I don't think we've had a really focused hour-long conversation about the campaign that we worked together on before. um so that's good. It was good to do that. And um sorry, I just got a notification on my watch. um I think I wanted to talk about Let Women Speak as well today, and me guests as well, and getting more confident about asking people to come on my podcast. So we've had some really good guests, which I think will lead to other things, which is exciting. So on my way to Aberdeen, I was on the train and I got a notification on my phone from someone in business who I know quite well, who is my graphic designer, and she's a lovely woman. And we had a conversation when I stood in the election about the issues, and she hadn't really thought about it before, um, but she was really interested in hearing the different sides of the debate. And she saw Janet Murray, who she knew, on social media, who was in a bit of a media storm, bit of a social media storm, because she'd come out and said that she didn't, what was it? She didn't like the term pregnant people. And she'd done a video on it, and she had loads of, well, some people upset, some people agreeing, loads of inboxes of women who just agreed with her but didn't want to come out and say it publicly. So anyway, she tagged me in this post on social media, and I was on the train up to Aberdeen, and oh my god, it was so amazing. That the just looking out the window on the train to Aberdeen, it's amazing, just so pretty. Didn't realise it was so nice up there. So I really do need to go back because it's so lovely. Um anyway, so she tagged me in this post, and I had a conversation with Janet through social media, and I invited her on the podcast, and I'd never heard of Janet Murray. um but it transpires that she used to work for The Guardian, and she's got her own business, and she's in marketing, so she's really good at marketing. And she's oh yes, so we had a conversation. I invited her on the podcast, and then a few days before she came on the podcast and we did the recording, um some of the women in some of me WhatsApp it wasn't WhatsApp, it was Signal. One of my groups um, popped up and was criticising her because she'd done an interview with a woman who had two adult transgender children. Um, and they wanted her to challenge this woman. Um, so I said in this group, "Oh right, she's due to come on my podcast," and I got asked to ask her about it, but of course it came up in conversation anyway. And so it turns out that this woman who Janet had interviewed on a podcast, it was before she'd really learned about the issues and she didn't really understand them. Um, and I've since listened to this interview and I don't think she did anything terrible. Like, I can't really criticize anything that she said. She was very empathetic, which I think she would still should still take that approach today, like knowing everything that she does. Um, on this podcast, she was talking about concerns about surgery and drugs, and yeah, it was just a balanced conversation, and um, but yeah, it raised some interesting questions about how we treat people. Like, would you really go and challenge someone when you didn't agree with their way of life? And these children, children are adults. They're like it's a really weird word, that, isn't it? Adult children. It's a, not that that's a weird. It's more than one word. Um, but adult children, to talk about your son or daughter, it's a bit of a strange phrase. So it sounds like they're children, but they're not. They're adults, and then it's a contradiction because it's adult children. Anyway, I have this conversation with Ian all the time, um, or maybe not all the time because we don't like stand there just discussing that. We do talk about other things as well. Anyway, um, so yes, it turns out that this woman who she'd interviewed, I'd come across her before. Now I didn't know this when we did the podcast interview. I only listened to her podcast with this woman after that. But it turns out that I've come across her before. She's quite well known and she removed me from a counselling, like a counsellor's support group on Facebook because the subject came up and I had been watching for quite a while, and then one day I can't not say something, um because I think they were getting really upset about one of the counselling, um it's not a regulatory body, but it's kind of that sort of thing, and like an umbrella organization. um they were One of them had a bit of a bit of a to do where they tried to get rid of their trustees, because they didn't go along with trans ideology, and it failed. Something along those lines. Anyway, it was something to do with the transgender and in the counselling profession, and I I just feel like it's not ethical the way that counsellors are dealing with this issue, because they are just affirming whatever the client says. That's not what counselling is. That's not how I learned to practice counselling. Totally not good. Do you know what? I've forgotten to put my light on. Yeah, I don't think that's going to make any difference. Oh, it has a bit. Yeah, because the sun's out, you see. The sun's out, but thankfully I'm not sitting in it because it'd blind me. Anyway, so I don't think it's ethical the way that counsellors are behaving around this issue, because they're affirming clients. Like, client says, "Oh, I think I'm say I'm the client, oh, I think I'm a boy. Oh, yes, you are. Like, that isn't counseling. Like, I think I'm anorexic. Oh, yes, okay, you are. No, that's not what an it's like. Say an anorexic came along and said, "Oh, I think I'm fat." You wouldn't go, "Oh, yes, you are." You'd say, "Oh, what makes you think that? Where does that come from? Is that real?" You challenge it. But lots of these therapists are just going along with whatever the client says and affirming that whatever that identity is. But it's interesting because I bet you any money if a white person came along and said, "I think I'm black," they wouldn't go along with that. That would be racist. So I've got a bit of a problem when therapists are doing that, going along with it. So yeah, so that's not how I work when I'm counselling someone. I don't just go, "Oh yeah, yeah," and agree with everything they say. The whole point of counselling is to get a different perspective and to get to the root cause and to help someone move on. So totally don't agree with affirming someone's make believe identity. And I bet that will upset some people, but that's what I think. Um, Also, there's an ethical dilemma behind this as well. As a counsellor, we have a duty of care to report, um, self harm and if someone's going to take their own life or and things like that. And that's what gender affirming care does. It If that person goes on to have surgery or puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones as a result of that counsellor affirming their gender, then that's causing harm and that's against ethics anyway. So in this group, I raised safeguarding concerns as it is my duty as a counsellor to raise these concerns and issues. And yeah, so I did that and I got kicked out. She actually got someone else to challenge me and then kicked me out of the group because she just couldn't bear me saying those things. And if you think that you're in the right and that's the way you deal with something rather than having a discussion, then that is really concerning. Anyway, it wasn't the only counselling group I got kicked out of. Actually, I didn't get kicked out of the other one. I actually left because I just couldn't bear it. I did challenge someone in that group as well, and one of the group rules was no pylons. Well, guess what happened when I raised the other side of gender affirming care in this counselling group? Yep, there was a pylon, and guess who did it? The admins. You couldn't make it up. Well, you could, but anyway, so I stayed around for a little while and then I just thought, well, I can't speak in here freely, so I don't want to be here. Because if I have to censor myself, it's not for me. I don't want to come here. So I left that group and now on my counselling directory profile, um, I have put that is my way of working and I've put a bit more about me. And if you know about this stuff, you will know. Oh, 5 new chat messages. I'm getting a notification, but I don't know where they are. Let me have a look. Have I got a chat box? No, I don't know where it is. Sorry, I'm just looking at the thingy, but it's flashing on the tab at the top, but I don't know where the messages show up. So, hello if you're watching. Thank you for joining me. Unfortunately, I can't see where the chat is. Where would it be? Nope, no idea. Ah, here it is. I can see it there. Studio chat. Oh, hello. It's Annie and the Boiling Frog. Hi. So Annie, Paul, and Uta. Hello. Oh, I'm glad I found that. I've actually got people here today as well. That's good. I usually end up talking to myself. So yeah, I was talking about me guest the other week, and I think some other good stuff's going to come from talking to Janet. But yeah, I'm not going to say too much more about that yet because it might not come off. I've also got some other really exciting guests coming up as well, so I'm looking forward to that. And Annie's looking forward to seeing Ian on the podcast, so that's coming up later. And Uta has got lots of daffodils, and I was talking to her about her daffodils on her video this morning, so that was good. And I'm on a big TV. Hmm. That must mean that Paul's watching me on the TV. That I don't like seeing myself on the TV, I have to say. Um, yeah, so yeah, I've got some really exciting guests booked in. So I'm looking forward to that, but I don't want to say who they are in case they don't turn up because that's happened before. I had someone quite well known booked and then they didn't turn up. Um, what else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, so me and Annie went to Aberdeen and Nottingham to Let Women Speak, and that was really great. That was really good. It's saying I've got one new chat message, but I think I can see all of them. I've lost my train of thought now that I'm excited that I've actually got people watching me. I think that's the first time, and I didn't freak out when I realised I was being watched. And it's because I'm doing it from Riverside, which is what I use to edit me videos. Because um, last time I just used YouTube, but this time when I tried to do it from YouTube, it didn't work. So yeah, so we had a really good train journey to Aberdeen. The hotel was absolutely amazing. It was like I was going to say a mansion, but you can't really have a mansion inside a hotel. But it was massive. The hotel room was really big, and it had a separate bathroom with uh, like a big vestibule in the middle, like a big space in the middle. So that was lovely. The bathroom was quite big as well, and it could have had a bath in, but it didn't. It just had a huge shower. Um, and the Turf Talk Live was really good. Um, and I think you can watch that if you haven't seen it already. Also, there was a panel discussion where you let what was it called? Let Women Ask rather than Let Women Speak. And I saw Mr. Menno was there, and he's done a video on Aberdeen, and he also interviewed Jean from Aberdeen, and that's been released tonight. So I'm looking forward to watching that because I'm not brave enough to ask people in the street for an interview yet, but I might get there. I might. Bit of a learning curve, all this YouTube and stuff. And then Nottingham, well, that was an adventure, wasn't it? Because the police weren't going to protect us. So we went to the police station and it was fine getting there, apart from the fact that I had to go to one train station walk across the town to another train station. But then I saw a heron, so I was in a bit of a, oh my god, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm going. I'm not sure if I'll be like if I've got loads of time or because I didn't know how far it was. And Google said it was a 20-minute walk, but what if it wasn't? Anyway, my anxiety was for nothing. And I crossed over this river and there was a heron there, and it was just lovely seeing the heron. And then I got to the train station all hot and bothered because I'd rushed. And it was a lovely day. And then I didn't need to rush. And then we had Let Women Speak. There were so many people that I knew at Nottingham. So I met Stephen Flaherty, which I think I've said his name right, but I struggle with his surname because it's got a weird H in it. Anyway, I also met Dusty Masterman, is that his name, who has been promoting my podcast since I started, which was amazing. Yes, the Trent in Newark, that was the River Trent. Thank you, Annie. um, I was going to talk about the journey back later because that's a bit more of an adventure, isn't it? Um, yeah, I met Dusty, so I said thank you to him for promoting the podcast. And I met Karina, who's from Nottingham, and who else? Oh, Bev White, because she was another candidate, but I'd never met her before in real life, and she's been on my podcast as well. So that was nice to meet her properly. And I saw Catherine Murphy again, who was another candidate. I met her for the first time in Aberdeen on the train. I was walking down the train and there was this woman, I didn't know who she was, and her face just lit up because she saw my t-shirt, and I was like, hello, are you going to Let Women Speak? And she was like, Kelly, and I'm like, how do you know my name? And then she introduced herself, and I was like, oh, she looked totally different in the flesh, so I didn't recognize her. She didn't have her glasses on, so yeah, I didn't recognize her. She had a hat on as well, in my defense. um so yeah, so that was nice to meet Catherine as well. And then who else did I see? Mr. Menno was there. And yeah, so um and then so I had the Let Women Speak at the police station. The police actually did turn up. There was about 4 of them, I think. uh One of the YouTubers got assaulted. um oh yes, Wesley Winter was there. Now he came to Hyde Park last time I was in London, and he was filming a documentary, and I was in it. Um, and he kept interviewing me. Like I was just walking around, I was walking down, and he just like popped up and started talking to me, and I just thought I was having a conversation. And then he'd get the microphone, and I was like, "Oh, I'm being recorded, okay." Um, but yeah, it was nice because he recognised me, and I didn't think he would. And I met Connie Shaw, and I was talking to her. She did an interview from it on me. I don't know what her channel is, so I'm gonna have to find out where I'm where I'm on the where I am on the internet. Um, the YouTuber who was assaulted was which order is it? News Now Yorkshire, I think it is. And it's on there. I've watched it. But if you can't find us, let us know. If you can't find it, let me know and I'll send you it, because I'll definitely be able to do that for you. It was a woman who assaulted him, and she was a TRA, and some of our side actually challenged him because they thought he was a TRA, this YouTuber. That was it. News Now Nottingham. I think it was Yorkshire, but it might have been Nottingham. Um, what was I saying? I've forgotten. I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so this woman had assaulted him, and then she got taken into the police station, And then there was this other woman with a Mohican who was also really aggressive. And later on Facebook, Karina was saying that that's our neighbour who's been told by the police to stay away from her, but she's obviously doesn't stay away. So I wouldn't like to live next to a TRA. I think that would be really unbearable. Um, yeah. So then we went for a look round. Well, we went to the pub. We stayed there for quite a while. Had a good chat with loads of women and men, and then we went for um some food. And yeah, a lot of the people, the customers in the pub where me and Annie went for food, didn't like our t-shirts. I could tell they were like at us. So I was smiling very nicely at them. And then the woman who I ordered the food from wasn't listening and didn't get the order right. So we got some free fries anyway. So that was annoying. But they made up for it. And then Annie took me photo with the neon lights behind me. So that's a really good photo, which I've posted on social media. And yes, Annie's saying it is Yorkshire. Yeah, so I've posted that on social media and it's on the thumbnail for the Nottingham Let Women Speak. So you can go and have a look at that because Annie's a very good photographer, aren't you, Annie? Um, she took loads of photos and I took loads of clips, video clips. Um, and then the train journey back, oh, what a nightmare. So on my train app, we were supposed to be on separate trains. On mine, it came up delayed, and then Annie's was saying that her train was cancelled. So I went and saw someone in were queued to go and see the guy in the ticket office, and he advised Annie to get on the train that I was going on. So I was like, oh well, that's okay. That'll be quite good. We'll be able to like go back together rather than separately. Um, and then on my app, my first train was delayed, and the second train was cancelled. So we got talking to the guy on the um, ticket barrier thing. I had a long conversation with him, and he advised us to go to Derby. So we did. When we ran to get on the train, he said, "Oh, check with the guy at the back of the train to make sure it's okay with your tickets." But it was just about to leave, so we pretty much legged it, and then we had to get on the train. And nobody checked our tickets, so we got off at Derby to find that the best train to get was via Nottingham to Newark Castle, and then to get the train from Newark Northgate, which is the way I'd come down in the first place. So it took us about 4 hours to go 7 miles because at Derby there was people saying, "Oh, there's no trains leaving Chesterfield," which is the station that I was supposed to go to get my second train, but that was cancelled. There was no trains leaving there. So there was a fire and there was faults on the trains as well. So what an adventure. So anyway, so we got the train to Newark Castle and actually saw the castle because the first time I didn't see it because of the way I went to the train station. But the second time I saw the castle and we walked back across the river. Unfortunately, there was no heron for Annie. Um, so it wasn't there when I went back. That's a shame. Yes, it was a complete wild goose chase. And then we walked, yeah, so we walked 20 minutes across Newark, but it was a nice day again, so it wasn't too bad. And then we got the train, but would like I'd looked on the app and there was a train every hour. And then when we got off the train at Newark Castle, we had a 20-minute walk and it was going to be like 10 minutes for the next train. So by the time got there, we missed that train and we had to wait about 50 minutes for the next one. But once we got on that train, it was only 2 hours. So I think overall, we're only an hour. I was only an hour, like an hour and a half later than I was expected to be, because we actually ended up getting on a train earlier than the one that we're supposed to be on. So anyway, that was, yes, quite an interesting journey back. I know I was full of cold, and by the time I got home, I felt really ill, and I didn't go out on Sunday because I was just full of cold, and I've probably given it to Annie. So sorry, Annie, if you've got me cold. Um, but can't be helped. So we need to work out when we're going to another Let Women Speak, because um it's gonna be, yeah, we'll have to work out the next time, because we haven't got anything more planned in, have we? But I think I need another one to look forward to. I think I'd like to go to London next. I haven't been since, I think, October. So a Hyde Park one would be good. Um, you're okay so far, so you haven't got me cold yet. Oh well, maybe you'll be all right, because I got it off somebody who, well, one of my staff members who's got children, and they always blame the children, lurgy carrying children. But yes, if you're a turfy knitter, go and find Annie's channel, because that's funny. She has herbal confusions instead of herbal infusions. And yeah, what else shall I talk about? Anything, or shall I wrap it up? Because I've been talking to myself for half an hour. Not quite not quite to myself, because I've got people on this time, which is interesting. Oh, I can smell cigarette smoke. Yeah, Paul, do you go to London every month? I think you do. Every time I go, you're there. It must be cigarette break, because I can smell cigarettes. Yeah, well, so I think I've run out of things to say. So, has anyone got any ideas for guests for my channel as well? Because I'm always looking for people, and if you know them, it's even better, because it's easier to like encourage people to come on my channel if they already know someone who's asking them, rather than me just randomly messaging them on social media. Yeah, and Paul's saying he goes to London most months. Yeah. Oh, but you'll be helping some, maybe it's Catherine with her, the other Catherine, what's her name, Longthorpe, with her election campaign. I think some of the Party of Women candidates are standing in local elections, and there aren't any local elections for me, like council type elections. There is one for the mayor, the local mayor for, was it North Tyneside? Um, but yeah, I wasn't sure what was happening with Party of Women, so I decided not to do anything with that this time. Um, yeah, I can't wait to um, share my interview with Ian, because it's quite funny. Uh, well, I found it quite funny having a conversation like that with him, because I don't usually have conversations like that with him. Obviously, we talk about like food and if I'm going out, and the gas and electric bill and stuff like that, but we very rarely talk about, oh, can you remember when we did this thing together? And then remembering all the little details as well. Like, it was quite a staged conversation, if you like. It wasn't something that we would usually talk about. Anyway, yes, well, I've really enjoyed it, doing a live and having people on there as well. Oh, from this as well, I can invite you to appear on the stream. So that would be funny if I just picked someone randomly and went hi. I wouldn't do that without planning that first though. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up. Thank you so much for joining me and how to make scrambled eggs with milk. He actually said that he does put milk in, but I don't know how because it's like I mean it tastes nice, but it's just not scrambled. It's like a chunk of egg. It's like a big it's like omelette, but um like a fist shape. So it's not scrambled because scrambled's like, in bits. Um, but he said he did put milk in it, so I don't know what he does because it doesn't look like that when I make it. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap up and I might see you again. Thank you for joining me. Oh, is it morning there? Yeah, good morning. It's 20 to 3 in the afternoon here, but Utah's in America, and so it's morning over there. So yes, go and enjoy your daffodils. I hope it's sunny there as well. And I will see you next time. Thank you for coming and talking to me. Bye. Oh, before I go, Annie's just said it's got to be better than the Nottingham Hotel. That's true. The egg there wasn't nice. The rest of it was all right, but yeah, the Nottingham Hotel was rubbish, especially compared to Aberdeen. We're really spoilt at Aberdeen. The beds at Nottingham were really thin. They weren't. I thought I was going to roll out of them, but at least we didn't have to share. But anyway, bye.